Hello students, today we are going to discuss about atoms and molecules. First one, atoms. An atom is the smallest particle of an element. We have already discussed about what is element, what is compound. So we know element is the pure substance. So the smallest particle of an element is an atom. And this atom possesses all the properties of that element. That means which properties an element has. The same properties has the same properties are possessed by the atom of that element, and this atom may or may not have independent existence. That means sometimes some atom can exist independently and some atoms cannot exist independently. One example of is given. Helium gas is made up of helium atoms. Every element is made up of atoms. Next, characteristics of atoms. The first one, the atoms of most elements are very reactive and do not exist as free atoms. Most of the elements is made up of atoms which are very reactive and do not exist as free atoms, means do not exist independently. Next one, atoms of one element are alike and they differ in properties such as shape, size and mass from the atoms of other elements. We know every element has unique properties, so atoms of one element are not similar to the atoms of other elements. They differ in properties such as shape, size and mass. Next characteristics. An atom maintains its properties through all physical and chemical changes. Any physical and chemical changes are occurred, then also an atom always maintains its properties. It remains the properties remain same. The properties of atoms remain same always. Next one, molecules. Molecules is the smallest particle of an element or a compound, and it exists independently always and shows all the properties of that substance. We have learned that an atom is the smallest particle of an element, but molecule is the smallest particle of an element or a compound. Compound is also a pure substance, but it is made up of two or more elements. But the smallest particle of a compound is molecule. Only the difference between atoms and molecules is atom is the smallest particle of an element only, but molecule has the smallest particle of a compound which are made up of more than two elements, and the molecule exists independently. Yes, molecule has the properties of that substance. For example, oxygen gas is made up of oxygen molecules. In oxygen molecules has two oxygen atoms, and it is the oxygen molecules is the smallest particle of oxygen gas, but oxygen molecule has two oxygen atoms. This is the difference between atoms and molecules. Next, characteristics of molecule. First one, a molecule of a compound has atoms of different elements combined in a fixed whole number ratio. We know in a compound the elements are chemically bonded with each other, so the different elements combine in a fixed whole number ratio in a molecule of a compound. And molecules are formed by the combination of the atoms of the same element or different elements. We have already discussed about that. Compound is formed by the combination of one or more than two elements. So, molecules are formed by the combination of the atoms of the same element or different elements, but it is in the fixed whole number ratio. The atoms in a next one, the atoms in a molecule are held together by attractive forces are called chemical bonds. We have already discussed about that. In a molecule, the atoms of elements are different, means a molecule has different elements, atoms of different elements. So these atoms in a molecule are held together by attractive forces. Attractive forces means force of attraction are called chemical bonds. Next one, a molecule of a substance can be represented by a molecular formula. The formula of molecules is the molecular formula, and by the molecular formula we can know about a molecule of a substance, about a molecule, one molecule of a substance. And in this case, energy is either absorbed or evolved when a compound is formed from the elements. We have already discussed about it. Next, atomic architecture. Architecture means structure. You have to know about how it is made up of. So, atoms are the fundamental building blocks of chemistry. Without atoms, we can't study about chemistry. Study about chemistry we can't read. So, atoms are the fundamental building blocks of chemistry. Next one, an atom has an internal structure. For know about internal structure, we have to know about structure of an atom. This is the structure of an atom. An atom contains a core called the nucleus, and the nucleus contains protons and neutrons. This is the nucleus. This is the nucleus, and nucleus contains protons and neutrons. Protons are positively charged particles and neutrons have no charge. The negatively charged particles called electrons move around the nucleus in orbits, different orbits. These are electron, this is also electron, this is also an electron, this is also an electron, this is also an electron. These electrons are negatively charged particles, and these electrons move around the nucleus in orbits, in different orbits. This is the internal structure of atom. So an atom has an internal structure, and the internal structure of atoms of a particular chemical element differs from that of the atoms of other elements. We have already known that the atoms of one element is different in the atom of other element. So the particular chemical elements differs, atoms of particular chemical elements differs from that of the atoms of the other elements. Next one, these differences in structure are what makes the chemistry of one element different from that of another. These differences in structure help us to know about the difference between the chemistry of one element from that of another element. Next one, the rich diversity of chemical behavior can be traced to the internal structure of atoms. That means the chemical behavior, we can know about the chemical behavior from the internal structure of atoms. I think today up to this only we have to read. Again on the next class we have discussed about other topic from this chapter, elements, compounds and mixtures. Thank you.